Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you today about insulation for your van. Now, I watched a guy by the name of Greg Virgo, Virgoe. He's on YouTube. Go watch some of his videos because he is really knowledgeable. He was talking about the different R values, and also he was talking about closed cell foam and moisture barriers and things of that nature, and how they would keep condensation from accumulating in your walls and whatnot and molding everything. Anyway, go watch his video on that because it's really good. Now, sorry about that. I have several things that I am going to be doing that are not your standard insulation practices. Okay, but they're going to all add up to be a very thin thing and also a fairly decent R value. I'm guessing my R value is going to be running somewhere between 10 and 21. Probably closer to about 16, but I don't have it dialed in completely. You have spray foam insulation, like what is right there. Okay, that's not everywhere in the van. That is an R6 per inch. So you're looking at least 3 inches of that. So that's at least 21 R21 right there on the lower part of the wall. Okay. That helps. All insulation helps, no matter how thin it is or how spotty it is. That's not going to be R21 all over the whole van, but in that area, it's R21, which is a percentage of the wall, which helps. Okay. The next, now this is not regular Reflectix. This is foam core insulation. This is a closed cell foam inside of a double layer of a reflective coating. It is reflective insulation, not the same as Reflectix. Reflectix is a reflective insulation, sort of, but it's got the air bubbles. Okay. The next layer of insulation I have is closed cell foam. This stuff here, these are those little exercise mats, you know, with the waffle edges that people use for playrooms and different things. And they come in different colors. This one's black. I've got a whole stack of these. Closed cell foam is air and water tight. Okay. The only place air and water can get through it is on the seams, which, as you can see, I left that down so you could see where I was taping it up. Okay. So that's going to make basically a solid sheet of closed cell foam. Now this is about a 1/2 inch thick. Okay. So foam mat about a 1/2 inch thick is 1.75 R value. Okay. The 1/4 inch is 0.875. I'm not sure if this is completely a 1/2 inch. I don't have my tape measure on me. So I just rounded it to 1, an R value of 1, because it's thicker than a 1/4 inch, but it's probably not quite a 1/2 inch. It's probably 3/8. I'm going to be putting 7/16 OSB down with these layers. And that 7/16 OSB is 0.51 R value. Okay. So I just rounded it down to 0.5. Makes it easier for adding up. Now this is carbon fiber felt right here. This is welding blanket. This is not the fiberglass welding blanket. This is carbon fiber felt. Now this has a melting point of like, I don't know, way up there, like 5,000 degrees or something like that. This is a heat blocker. Okay. This blocks heat. I can actually put my hand underneath here, and then right here, I can put a blowtorch on that and not burn my hand. Okay. So this blocks heat. It doesn't really have an R value per se, but it's a heat blocker. And heat blocking is a huge issue in a van, because where I plan on being most of the time is in the southern United States, where it gets very hot. And metal, as you know, conducts heat, like the metal on the van. So if I put this heat blocker, let me pull this down. See? Oops. Don't fall all the way down. I'm not done gluing that up. I glued the felt to this with spray foam insulation. With with spray glue. Now I use the high strength 3M90 because it has a temperature rating of over 200 degrees. And everything that I've seen, the inside of your van doesn't get to be more than about 160, I'm guessing. So the glue shouldn't let loose because of the heat. So that's why I use that glue. I can use the other stuff in other places in the van, but on the outside walls where it's going to get the worst heat, I'm using the 3M90. Okay. Now, this is a laminate flooring, and I'm guessing this is not quite 12 mil thick, but laminate flooring has an R value of 0.638 to 0.975. Since this isn't the super thin, and I don't know if it's the thickest, I just figured it at about an R8. Okay. Carbon fiber I put down, since it is a material, and any material does have a slight R value. I put 0.5. Okay, which brings it up to the foam core insulation. Now the foam core insulation, depending on your air gap, can go anywhere from like an R3 to an R17. Okay, depending on the air gap. There's not really going to be an air gap much. Maybe in places. So I figured it as an R8. Okay. I didn't want to go too high on the scale, but it wasn't totally all the way down because it will have some air gaps. So I figured it as an R8. The laminate flooring as a 0.8. Okay. Now, all this added up comes to, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 0.8. So almost 11. Plus, I'm going to wrap all of this, including the OSB, in 6 mil plastic and taping it shut. So it's going to be encapsulated. Now, 6 mil plastic for 1 inch of insulation, this is going to be more than an inch when I'm done. 1 inch of 6 mil insulation will go, by itself, it's an R.5. Okay. You get 6 mil of insulation with 1 inch. So that's going to jump my R value up to about R16. Okay. And not have more than this much insulation around the entire van. But even if it's only at an R10, that's still not bad. Even if that plastic doesn't do anything but prevent moisture from permeating anything, because carbon fiber felt will absorb water and it can mold. Okay, this won't absorb water and it's probably not going to mold, and neither will the foam core. But then you've got this. It might mold on the back, but I doubt it. This is just an old sheet. So I'm going to encapsulate it. Now, I'm in the reason I say on the reflective insulation I have more than that is because you see this? I'm not counting these strips. This is just to bring up the level. I'm not counting these strips in the R value. Metal itself has a slight R value. I'm not counting any of that. So, and then when you're all said and done, if you put a rug down over the top of it, like one of those little area rugs or a throw rug, that also adds R value. So before anybody goes in here and says that this is not going to do anything, I beg to differ. It may not do as much as 2 inches of sheep's wool. Okay? Sheep's wool is a decent insulator, but it does take up a lot of space unless you compress it. And when you compress it, you lose a lot of R value. Sheep's wool insulation, let me pull that up, is 3.7. The R value is 3.7 per inch. Okay? Thinsulate, like what you put on your clothes, that's in your clothes and stuff, is R 2.35 per inch. Fiberglass bats is R 3.7 per inch. Okay? This foam core stuff, now it runs in between 8.4 per inch and 7.7 per inch, depends on if it's low or high density. I figured this was the low density because it's just an exercise mat. So that was 7.7, and I figured, you know, it's not a full inch, so I didn't give it that much. I gave it an R of 1, all right? Now, that doesn't mean that that is not more than 1 on the R value. That's just what I gave it. So I'm hoping that my insulation will end up being decent. Not to mention, all of these 3 things will deaden sound to a certain extent. The foam core, the spray foam, that stuff's waterproof for the most part, and it also deadens sound. Plus, you're going to have your wall on the inside. So, anyway, this is kind of a disjointed video, but I wanted to give you guys an update because I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, and I didn't want you to think I had forgotten. I've been working on it. I've got to pull this up and glue some more carbon fiber felt on that end over there because I was just messing around with it the other day trying to make it work as far as fitting in the space. So I didn't completely glue 2 pieces on there, which is what I needed to do in order to reach that corner over there. And I also have to add some more of these panels. I have a whole stack of them that were given to me. Now I'm using a lot of stuff that I got for free, okay? All of my laminate flooring I got for free. All of these panels I got for free. I got a whole big stack of them. The 7/16 OSB for the floor, I got that for free. There's a lot of things that I didn't have to pay for in this build that would have made this build much more expensive if I had to pay for them. As it is, right now I'm running around $1,500, and I got a lot of stuff that didn't cost me anything. So if I were to actually buy all that, we're looking at almost triple that price. So it's going to be a decent build when I'm done, I hope. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what the final product is, but I'll try to bring you along and show you as I go. I just wanted to go over the insulation thing because last night I was researching the insulation values of different things, and I wanted to touch base with you guys on that because everybody's worried about the R value, and you should be, but it's not as huge of an issue as you might think. Just dead airspace has an R value, okay? And it's about an R1 per inch, okay? Now, there's also what they call a U value, all right? This has a U value because it doesn't allow heat through, okay? And this also has a slight U value, but I don't know what it is. And I'm not even sure how to figure it. It's some big, long, complicated formula. But since I don't have the equipment to measure all that stuff, and I'm not going to buy one of those temperature guns to see what things are reading, I'll just have to go by what I can find on the internet. So, anyway, guys, if you put carpet in your van, like shag carpet, which is a continuous filament, it's got an R value of 2.46, right? Wool plush carpeting has an R value of 2.19. Acrylic plush carpeting has a R value of 1.90. Both of those are spun yarn. Okay. Padding, carpet padding. It runs anywhere from 0.62 to 0.62 to 2.09 on the R value, depending on what kind of padding you use. Berber carpet, olefin, that is. The commercial type carpetings, they have the lowest R value, and that's about 0.55 to 0.70. They don't have much R value, but they are lowest. They wear really well. So if you do end up getting something like that in your van, just know that it should last good, but even if it doesn't give you a whole lot of R value. But every little bit adds up. So when you're doing your R value figures for your build, take all the layers into consideration. Even the flooring that you're going to put down that you're going to walk on. Like the laminate. It has an R value. This stuff, R value. not much of an R value, but it has one. Plywood, etc. All that has R values. So if you don't think you have much of an R value, you need to stop, back up, and then add up all the different layers that you're going to be doing, and that will give you a closer estimate of what your R value should be. Anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. Think about what I've said, figure out your own R values, and y'all come back to see me.